think, judging from Karula's behavior now, she's heard the female, but the female's being a bit difficult. She doesn't want to come out, but she'll start calling again. Oh, look, it's just too special. She's such a fantastic mother. Isn't this just too special, being able to spend time? And you should go back a little bit, Brian. Are you happy there?
No, we're okay for now.
Okay. You can hear her calling for the female again.
And here she comes.
Here comes the female. Brian spotted the next. Here comes the next cub. Look at her charging in. Hi, Ma. Here we go. Look at that. She is such a fantastic mother. And here comes brother to cause trouble as well. Look at the cheeky little guy scent marking. Thinks he's much bigger than he is already. So from here she's going to take them back to where we've been checking all afternoon, to the darker kill Herbie saw happen. Look at them playing. Isn't this just too fantastic? Hi, Jessie, who's from Miss Jacob's class, who joined us on a school drive. Now Jessie's watching without the school, and Jessie would like to know, how do we know it's Karula? Well, she's got a very specific spot pattern, Jessie, and what that is, it's a section of spots just above the top of her nose, and that lets us know which leopard it is. And also the area we find her in. So leopards are territorial. Okay, so she's about to cross to our side. I'm just going to move. I think she's going to go through to the pan. And I'm going to wait for her there. Go. She's crossing to our side, Simon. Let's just zoom around. Okay, isn't this absolutely spectacular? Karula and cubs. I'm so excited. I haven't seen them in so long. Now I'm hoping little Shongile decides she also needs a drink, so we're going to position ourselves in the right spot. So Brian, let's get ourselves right. right in there in case they come to drink. Okay, so we're just going to wait here. Look at that, that's little Shungile. Isn't she pretty? So I'm hoping she comes down for a little drink at the pan. Oh, now she's going back. So Karula's just above her. Look at her, she's stalking. I think she's either stalking her mom. I know she's stalking. Look at her go! Look at her go! There's mom! Oh, there comes trouble. Oh, I've missed spending time with leopard cubs. It's been a while. Look at that spectacular backlight. And little Shungile is coming up to us again. She might come for a drink. Oh, look. Oh, sorry, Brian. I know. But they just climbed up the most ridiculous tree. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? Karula she's playing. She ran straight up the tiniest little tree with young Hosanna following her. And now we've got Shungile coming down for a drink. Here comes her brother as well. Look at this. Isn't this too special? See, there's already quite a big size difference between the two. The young male Hosanna at the back, and then his little sister. So you can already see, though they're exactly the same age, one can already see the size difference between them. So that click is me taking some pictures. I haven't... Oh, see, she doesn't want to get ambushed by her brother when she's having a drink at the water. Oh, he stood in the mud. Oh, silly boy. Oh, look at this. Shungile is literally underneath us. I have to sit up. She's so close to us. There we go. Time to follow mom. And now little Shungile Hosanna is right next to us again. You can see how close he is to the car. We actually can't even see him. He gets so close. Now they are fully full of joy. It's a lovely, cool... There goes Karula sprinting off again. She's also in a playful mood. Off they go! Poof! Okay, let's move. Let's get into a better position. Orbs. And Aubrey found them for us. I just wanted to say thanks to Orbs. We were fortunately literally 50 meters away. She's jumping up trees like she's a cub today. While playing with her cubs, she just leapt into that little tree again. Oh, isn't this just magic? I'm so happy. It was definitely worth the wait. Now, it's a question we actually get asked quite often, whether the cubs have distinctive markings similar to their mother. Even if they do, it's pure chance. There's no evidence or science that shows that they're inherent markings and body shapes, coloration. Oh, look at that! Yes, definitely, but actual similar shapes, no. Wow, wasn't that amazing? Yeah, they come again. Lots of games at the moment. Coming back for Mom now. Let's see if Mom jumps up a tree again when she's chased. Look at that, she's running right up to us. Big games going on here with the Queen and the Prince and Princess of Djuma. I mean, they're so close, we can't even see off the front of the vehicle. Oh, disappearing leopard. I'm getting the eye from young Hosana there. Well, he's actually looking quite well fed compared to his sister. Greedy guts. Now, Deborah's wondering, is this Karula teaching them? I'd say no, Deborah, it's just Karula playing with them. Most of those climbing skills and jumping skills, etc., are all instinctive. They're born with those skills. I'm just going to let Aubrey go in front for a bit, because we've been hogging the best spot, so Aubrey did find it. So it's very busy out there today. So Jamie's with the Nkuhumas, Taxton's found Shiluva, and there's Mvula on a kill in Buffalo's Hook. So we're being quite spoilt. So there's actually 3 different leopard sightings going at the moment. Karula might take a shortcut through this area, which is quite thick. And we will try to stay with her while she does that. Okay, we're gonna go do some off-roading to keep up with Karula and her cubs. While we do that, let's go see what Jamie's up to.
What perfect timing! After an extraordinary time spent with Karula and her cubs, we have just stumbled upon a feeding herd of elephants right up close to Sydney's dam. Well, I hate to do this, but guess which leopard Veerman and myself just saw? We just saw Shaluva number 2, the youngest of the Shaluvas, and a leopard that I have not seen before. Unfortunately, the reason why you're looking at Ellies and not the leopard, not that they're not wonderful, is unfortunately she's gone into Buffelshoek. Hook. So she will hopefully turn south. Taxon says he's going to let us know. For now, we're just going to hang out with these amazing elephants, including the little baby at the back who, dare I think, is Benjamin Button. I hear you saw him this morning, and I saw the amazing clip of little Benjamin attempting to navigate the thorns that he managed to walk into. I'm really hoping that it might be our special little elephant with the very wrinkly forehead. Oh, there's the drongo. Those of you who are sharp-eyed might have spotted a little blackbird flutter up, catching the insects that the elephants are displacing. Hello, beautiful girls. Absolutely loving the fact that the knobthorns have brand new bright green leaves. What a pleasure that must be. Oh, what you doing, little one? I've got to catch up with the rest of the herd. You're being left behind. I'm hoping they might actually decide to go to Sydney's dam for a drink. Here you go, catch up, so we can go and see which baby that is. What a beautiful afternoon it is. After a couple of really cloudy days, it's nice to see the sun once again. Perfect. Okay. Let's reposition and go and see if perhaps that is indeed Benjamin and his mother Olympia. I know that since Gracie got to name Benjamin's mom, and I know she only watches on our sunset safaris, I'm hoping it might be them. Hello, Ellies. Do you mind if I come through? Hello, guys. That's definitely not Benjamin. That much I can tell you, because it's a little girl. Whoa, okay, big girl. Oh, big boy, sorry. No wonder you're so agitated with me. Sorry, mister. I'm not saying you look like a lady, although you do a little bit, I have to say. I thought you were a female. All clustering together around the female. Little calves all together. It seems like Buffelshoek's the place to be this afternoon. Let's try again. Very interesting question, which is, would an Asian elephant survive in this kind of environment? I'm tempted to say probably. So let's go into a couple of differences quickly in terms of African and Asian elephants. One of the big differences is the trunk and the fact that Asian elephants only have one finger-like projection on the top, whereas with African elephants, they have two finger-like protrusions at the end of the trunk, one on the top and one on the bottom. Shape of the back is slightly different. The African elephant slightly more flat-backed. And of course, the biggest giveaway is the size of the ears, with the African elephants much larger than the Asian elephants. Now, I've said yes, and I'm thinking about it, and can I change my opinion on that? And the reason I say that is not to do with any of the physical adaptations that we can see, But I do wonder whether or not our African elephants' digestive system has a very different approach to that of an Asian elephant, because the food is just totally different. We've got lots and lots of thorn trees. It's a completely different ecosystem, different trees, different grasses. And it leads me to wonder whether or not an Asian elephant might struggle in terms of digesting. Might survive for a while, I'm not sure. Oh, it's a really, really good question, isn't it? I'm not 100% sure. I know of Asian elephants that have been in South Africa before, and that have, but never set loose into the wild. I've only ever heard of it in captivity. I'm tempted to say they wouldn't survive for very long, just purely in terms of the nutrition available out here and how different it is for the elephants. But that's a lovely question. Thank you for sending that through. We often talk about the differences between Asian and African elephants. And it's nice to get into what those differences actually mean. Because of course the other aspect is the fact that it gets very, very hot in India. Our African elephants, with their enormous ears and their enormous cooling systems, are perhaps slightly better adapted for high temperatures. Now, this big female is not taking any nonsense. She's pushed away a younger elephant away from her calf, who's following along behind Mom. It's one of my favorite things to watch when... Yes, very big and scary little girl. Chasing really tiny birds that are on the ground. Okay, I was about to say but that is also one of my favorite things to witness. Baby elephants just being silly and playful at the same time. But what I was going to say is whenever a baby elephant's mom decides to discipline another member of the herd, her baby, if it's a little elephant, always seems to get such a kick out of it. They sort of go running after Mom with their heads held up as if to enforce her point and say, yes, you don't mess with my Mom. We're the big boss around here. Oh, Waddled Starlings, that's what she was chasing. In the bottom of your screen there, you might have noticed a couple of them wandering about. That's what the little baby elephant was chasing. It's a bird I've only just started recently seeing again, not because they're a migratory species, but I think they've just moved to where food supplies are slightly better. There you go. That's a nice addition to our bird list. Aren't we having a fantastic birding day? From scops owls to bronze-winged coursers and now wattled starlings. Braving the enormous elephant feet and trunks around them. Oh. The camera's perspective there made it look like that elephant just stepped on that bird. It didn't, obviously, because it's fine. It's all fine and well. Oh, somebody's crossing and resting its ankles. Yes, there's a considerable size difference between our wattled starlings and our elephants. Luckily, the amazing nature of our cameras means that we can capture both scenes, even an elephant resting on one hip. That was amazing. That really did look like the elephant had just stepped right where the bird was. We're not too far away from Sydney's dam. I could be thinking about going there for a drink. Oh, still trying to get at the sheltered plant material under the dead trees, which of course they've just that little bit more sheltered in terms of growth and water loss. So pushing away dead or fallen trees is a really good place to look if you're a hungry elephant. Although, as I said, definitely looking much healthier already, gaining back the weight that they've lost over our dry season, and especially during this drought. Not that the drought is over, but we've certainly had some relief. Little one, you going to chase some more starlings? Or are you done now? Is it lunchtime? Gathering up bit by bit, leaf by leaf. Come on, Ellies. Don't disappear into Buffelshoek. Stay with us. Or perhaps actually we might just be catching the tail end of a big herd. We have seen some enormous herds, probably actually several herds all together over the last few days, which has been an absolute pleasure. But perhaps this is just the tail end, the stragglers. There might even be some at Sydney's Dam already as the afternoon starts to get cooler. And I think because our Ellies have disappeared into Buffelshoek. Sorry. A tree just rolled over. A tree just rolled over, but there's no elephant there. Or is there an elephant there? Let's just go investigate. I'm just curious. I think it must have been moved by an elephant and then fell back into its original position. No, there's definitely no elephant here. I promise you that tree just rolled of its own accord. Okay, so I'm not completely loopy. Either both of us are crazy, or that really did happen. I'm going with the latter. Promise you that tree just rolled over on its own. It must have been resting at an odd angle. That's the only conclusion I can come to. I don't know why though, because it's not freshly pushed over. Maybe it's what we were talking about the fact that it's a good idea for the elephants to look underneath fallen trees. Thanks, Ellies. Come have a drink now at Sydney's. Let's go see what's happening there. Now, since it's been about nearly 2 weeks since we had our first big rain, initially what it meant is that our sightings, animals just vanished into the bushes. Have to go and drink at dams or anywhere water holes. But now most of the puddles have dried up or very, very muddy. And so
we're still following Queen Karula and the little gems, but they are taking us through quite a thick area. So I do apologize if you hear any scraping over the microphone. It's unfortunately so we don't lose them. We do have to do a bit of off-roading. Whoppa! Whoppa! Fortunately, it is a nice little open area that I'm driving on now, which is parallel to them. Make sure we don't lose sight. They're probably about 40 meters from us, the last visual I had, moving through this particularly thick area. Can you see them, Brian? I've lost. Oh, there we are. I've got. Looks like Karula through there. Okay, so I'm going to keep on parallel. They should come out towards a road shortly. Some maneuvering. You're holding on, Brian. There we go. One more little hop. Ooh. That's not looking good, is it? That's looking a little bit deep. Oh, go on. There we go. Should get. See that? Look at that. Now that could have been me. Oh, Sisyphus thorns. Nasty buggers. Hold on. Look at that. Oh. Directly below that golden sun. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's just move forward again. We're going to cross this little ravine that we just did. There's Aubrey. I'm just signaling to him to come. He went round while we stayed with them through the block. So they're moving again through this little this thick area here. They are going to pop out into the open, probably in a couple of minutes or so. Let's just keep a lookout on that open patch there. I'm just going to wait here. So we can't see them at the moment, but we know they were heading directly for that little bit of open ground. I'm just perusing for movement. But remember, this is a live African safari. We are following a female leopard and her 2 cubs that are about 7 months old. And they are absolutely delectable. Now, there they come. They should be about to pop into the open in 3, 2, 1. There goes Mom. Now where's Trouble 1 and Trouble 2? I think Trouble. Now the problem with kids is, well, you've got a determined plan to get somewhere. They don't quite have the same plan as they scuttle about. Oh, there we go. Here comes trouble number 1, at least. Who's that? Shongile. Now where's Hosana? Ah, here he comes. Okay, there we go. We're going to keep moving now. Let's go find a way out of these thickets quickly. They're going to pop out at the junction of Shabam Road and the other road, which is Savage's Track. But while we catch up with them, let's go back across to see how Jamie is doing.
Hello! I'm sorry about that. I did say I was going to be taking Jigger to the deepest, darkest parts of Djuma. Not that I would describe Sydney's Dam as the deepest, darkest part of Djuma, especially because it's not on Djuma. But as you can tell, Jigger still has a few niggles that need ironing out. Right, well, you've jumped on board at the perfect possible time while Brent attempts to catch up with those cubs. And that's because, to cast our sort of memory back to when we were doing the night drives with the infrared and where James was in the Mara, we kept driving along Gallagher shortcut and wrinkling our noses and saying there's something terribly smelly, something's died. We never found out what it was. But we did suspect, we did mention that it was probably the injured buffalo that Taylor had seen a couple of days before on quarantine. Now, I never saw him, but Taylor tells me that he was grievously injured. And it is him. And I know it was him because I just found him, well, actually Liam and myself just found him while we were trundling up this road earlier to get to Buffelshoek boundary. And he is somewhere. Actually, we've got to go a little bit further before we get there. And it's interesting to see that whole situation because we could smell it for a long time, for days at a time. And as you know, our sense of smell as a human being is not really equivalent to that of an animal. Yet somehow nothing found him or nothing could be bothered to eat him, which is kind of weird. because during that time we actually had many visits from our hyenas to say hello and coming to see. Why they didn't eat this buffalo, I do not know. Initially, they have now. I'll show you as soon as he's just around the corner. I'll show you how much of the carcass is gone. The reason the vultures didn't find it is because that buffalo must have died in some really dense vegetation. He must have just been hidden away. He probably went there because he was feeling so weak to try and find a place that was safe, away from other predators, because of course being that weak would have made him unbelievably vulnerable. I guess it was just such a time of plenty because it was just after the rain, so a couple of the animals were still really weak, really ill. There he is. But the hyenas didn't bother initially. They have now, and they've dragged him out into the open, which is why we found him now. Just go slightly around the corner to get a better view. So his face has been eaten. Oh, sorry, Viam. Sorry. Let me go forward just a little bit. That was silly. Let's go sidle forward a bit. Oh, Chica does like to jump ahead. There we go. So we have the answer to our mystery of the smelly buffalo, or the smelly smell, around Gallagher Shortcut. As you can see, not even the skin has really been eaten. The face has. And most of the organs and the muscle. Otherwise, the skin's still here. You can tell it's a fresh carcass, just by the amount of meat that's still left on it. The hyenas haven't even really bothered to chew much on the nose or the bones. And I reckon if we went and had a closer look, I reckon we'd find that most of the bones were still intact. So for those of you that did perhaps see the injured buffalo, and tell me what you think, whether or not those horns would match up roughly to the buffalo that you saw with Taylor. So let's have a closer look at the horns. There we go. Does that look similar to the buffalo that was with Taylor? I know it's difficult to tell because we're not looking at him front on. But by the sort of the dents and the size of that buffalo, does that look about right? Do you think our conclusion is correct about it being the injured buffalo? Because that would... There we go. Ah! Hello, Taylor, who's in final control. Taylor says it's exactly the same buffalo. So there we go. We finally have the answer to the mystery of the stinky smell, and tying together in a way is the mystery as to what happened to that poor injured buffalo on quarantine clearings. He was the reason why we were so nervous about walking around in really dense vegetation for a couple of days, just because we had no idea where he had gone, and an injured animal is an incredibly dangerous one. Shame, sorry boy, you escaped the lions, but the conclusion was the same. Now, James Richards, you're wondering, on the subject of one of your favourite animals, whether or not a jackal would be able to feed on a buffalo carcass that hadn't been opened by a larger animal. Probably, over a certain period of time, what you'd find most likely is that the jackal would go for the softer parts, perhaps the nose, definitely around the eyes. One of the first things to disappear in a carcass is the eyes, which sounds revolting, but they're soft and easy to get to, especially for things like battle ears. So a jackal might come and nibble on the more sensitive parts, and yes, eventually a jackal would chew and chew and chew until it could get through into the more nutritious parts of the buffalo. So yes, in conclusion, yes. Right, Brent has managed to get through the thick vegetation. Let's go across and see what the royal family is up to.
Hi! We've caught up with them again. They've come out onto Philemon's cut line, and they're heading straight towards where that darker kill is. Unfortunately, it's not a very big kill, so that'll probably be finished by tomorrow morning, but I'm just ecstatic to have the time with these wonderful leopards that we do. Coming up on the right, Brian, is young Horsano. Hello, mister. You see how close he comes. Isn't this wonderful? Wait up, Mom. I'm coming. Oh no, chasing something. Sibling, where? Here they come again. Just so absolutely stunning. They're about, they're not far from the kill now. I think we're going to make our way towards the kill. Now Kerry is wondering, when Karula's not with them, will the cubs wander from each other or stick together? They'll wander a bit, but they will generally stick together, and they generally are a little bit less active and less playful than when Mom's around, although they're getting to the age now where they will play even if Mom is not here. So the kill is just through there. There. Now it is getting quite late, so I'm hoping Karula hoists it immediately. If not, I'm probably going to leave her be. We don't want her to lose that diker to hyenas. Brian doing a sterling job trying to stay on her while I'm bouncing off-road. I'm trying to choose the smoothest path, but unfortunately sometimes that doesn't work. Okay, she's about to go into a thicket. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump ahead of that thicket, because I do have the luxury of knowing where her kill is. Okay, it's going to take us a few minutes to get there, so while we speed off, let's go see what Jamie's up to and what her plans are for the rest of the evening.
While the royal family makes their way towards the royal feast, we are on our way to check up on another family of big cats. Back towards the Nkuhumas we go to see what they're up to, because it's starting to get a lot cooler, and as I said earlier, they do have very empty bellies, so there's a chance tonight, no, there isn't a chance, they are definitely going to go off tonight in search of food. It's just a matter of luck whether or not we will be able to be there when they do. Now, the one thing about Jigger's new configuration, or the fact that Jigger's resurrection, to be more specific, is that Jigger does not have infrared. So one of the other reasons why I'm rushing back to the Nkuhumas is if they don't leave the cubs in the next sort of, I would say, 20 minutes or so, we'll probably have to leave them because we won't have enough light and we can't spotlight the little cubs. So that's why we're heading back, well, one of the reasons why we're heading back there now. Thorns everywhere. No sign of our bronze-winged coursers. I did check on my way in. They seem to have moved off, decided that perhaps they were going to choose a more peaceful spot to spend the last few hours of their daytime nap. What do we think? We're going to go better to be going left or right when we come to the crossroads here. Oh, I have my answer in the form of one lioness with her legs up in the air, and you will see her in a moment. Oh, goody! How very convenient. Okay. Hello, girls. Thank you very... Oh, and she's up again. Kathy, you've asked a question that we often wonder about. And the question is whether or not when the male cubs grow up and leave the pride, because of course the females are most likely to stay with them, will they recognize their mothers and their family many years down the line, once they've left home, once they've dispersed, if they were to encounter them again? It's a really nice question. We often think about it. We wonder it about the leopards as well. We've got her there. There's another one lying there. Perhaps that's where she was on her way to. Hello, lionesses. That one at least is still fast asleep. Kathy, we often talk about that with all of the big cats. And yes, the answer seems to be yes, they do recognize each other. Mostly because the males don't seem to try and take over territories with their parents, but that's very situationally dependent. Yes, I think they do. I think that the big cats know each other. The question is whether or not, to take it one step further, whether or not, let's say, Shungile would know that she's related to Quarantine, for example, that he's actually her older brother. She's never met him, as far as we know. Not impossible that she has. Now, the cubs must be all with that other lioness, because we've only got the 4 of them here. And we are going to stay right here, because this, I think, is the hunting party. This will be the group of ladies that decides to go off in search of this evening's meal. There's a bit of paw licking going on, which is always a good sign. It's almost always a prelude to a cat getting up. A couple of yawns, licking of the paws. That's when the action starts to happen. That being said, entirely dependent on when the lionesses decide to move. River, who is 9 years old. Hi River, it's lovely to have you on our safari vehicle once again. You've asked a really lovely question, and thank you River for sending it through. River, you want to know if the cubs ever get scared when they are left alone. And it must be scary, River. I know that they know instinctively that they've got to stay put, but it must be a really terrifying experience. Especially if maybe something comes through, maybe a hyena walks past them, or perhaps they even see some elephants, and their instincts will tell them what to do, but it must be really very, very scary. Especially when they've got used to the security of the lionesses. You have to admit, a lion cub has got the biggest, scariest mom, except for maybe a baby elephant. But a lion cub definitely will feel very, very secure with mom and aunts around. Yes, River, I think lion cubs do get scared. I think it must be very scary being alone. Maybe they get even... Let's go over to Brent, see what's happening there.
Look at this. We've got ahead. We arrived at the perfect time as they've arrived at the Daika Carcass. It's quite a small carcass, as I said. I don't think it's going to be here for too long. But if Karula doesn't hoist it shortly, we're going to have to leave anyway. It's been quite a long walk, and you can see how close Hasana and Karula are lying to us. We can't really move into any other position at the moment. Shongili is more playing with the carcass than feeding on it. Look at that, going for the... Look at that. See, it's instinctive. She doesn't have to be taught to go for the throat. It's a big fluffy toy. Look at that, going for the throat again. Those instincts, those inbred instincts she's born with, taking over. Look. He's just having the best time. Yum, 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 yum. It almost looks like, oh, maybe I should take it up the tree, but I think she's still a bit small. So Jilly in New York is wondering why she didn't hoist the kill before she went to fetch the cubs. Well, Jilly, I'll get to that now. Let's just watch this incredible behavior. So Jilly, she probably didn't want to waste the energy. So I think she was quite confident that because of the time of the day that it happened, there was very little chance of her losing it to hyenas or other predators. So that's probably why she didn't hoist it. I think she will hoist it as it gets darker. But, well, I wish I could tell. We never really know what happens in a leopard's mind. Now all this playing we're seeing now is it's just incredible instinct taking over. Now people don't realize that even we are instinctive beings, and that instinct to go home when it gets dark, it's from when we lived on the savannah and lions and other things were coming out. Oh, it's a baby boy. You can just see his little horns sticking out now. Oh, look who's coming in. Now is he going to go try usurp his sister at the carcass? Just amazing to watch. Now, Shamsung is wondering, are the cubs big enough to hoist a kill on their own? Not yet, would be my answer to you, Shamsung. It's just amazing to sit here and enjoy this. Now the sun is dipping below. Oh, almost looked like a tail caught her. Ooh. That little hiss was for her brother. He looked like he was going to make an attempt to get a bit closer to that duiker. Quarry bush getting in the way. I hope you guys are getting some fantastic screenshots. Now you probably find at this age they've already made their own kill with it, but it's probably a squirrel. Oh, look at that. Or a dwarf mongoose. Maybe a little monitor lizard. Hissing at her brother again. You can see those claws coming in and out. She's having the best time. And as I said, they didn't look that hungry. And you can see that. I mean, she's by no means starving. She'd prefer to play with the carcass than eat it. Leopards are much quieter than lion cubs. I mean, even sitting as close as we are, we're not really hearing anything apart from when she rustles the bush. Having the best time. Let's really hope Karula does hoist this, so it's going to be here in the morning. Now Erlene's wondering, can Shingile open up this carcass, or will Karula have to? At this age I think she's capable already of opening it up. As I said, they're not that hungry, and she seems far more interested in playing than feeding. Now she does have a bit of hair stuck in her mouth. These, as I said, these leopard cubs are just over 7 months old now. She's closing in on 8. And with every month that passes, their chance of survival becomes higher and higher. So once they reach a year old, that sort of that very high mortality rate drops off into less than 10%. 4 months to go, more or less. So it's not a very big male, it's a young male duiker, and it'll be finished quite quickly. So as she keeps looking up the tree about thinking about hoisting that carcass, but I don't think she's quite strong enough yet. Look at her go. Oh, she is just too gorgeous. She is a beautiful female. Now, we're not going to stay here too much longer. The tree's not in the kill and the light is fading fast. This has been quite the spectacular afternoon. Welcome back, Brian.
Oh, thank you.
Nice way to come back.
Yeah.
Well, the killer bees have both had spectacular welcomes back on their first drives back. Brian with Karula and the cubs, who I haven't seen in an age as well. And of course, we were lucky enough to have a lion kill. Well, I was lucky enough to have a lion kill on my welcome back. Seems like Djuma likes us, Brian.
Yeah.
Now, Asana is literally lying. Shongi, what nonsense are you up to? Not supposed to play with your food. Every time she looks at her brother and gives a little hiss. Now her brother is literally right here. Where is he? There he is. You can see how close he is to me. And there's the side of the car. And he's chosen to come lie that close to us. We haven't forced our way to be that close to him. Oh, big snarlet, brother. He didn't even move. You can see all the flies buzzing around her. Or more aptly around the carcass. So you can see the camera is starting to get a little bit grainy. It is getting quite dark. So with the kill on the ground, I'm not going to stay here any longer. So we have one last look at the gorgeous Shongile, and we're going to say goodbye to them for now, but we'll be back tomorrow morning. And let's go back across to Jamie, who's with the Nkuhumas, who hopefully are going to be on the move soon.
You find me in a bit of a sticky predicament, trying to maneuver my way to follow the Nkuhumas. They are off. Can we do this? What do you think, Liam? Can we do it? Oh, let's do it. I think we can do it. I think Jigga can do anything she sets her mind to now that she's back up and running once again. So the reason we are following... Oh, goodness. Hopefully I don't put Jigga back into retirement. The reason that we are following the lionesses is they have left the cubs exactly where we said they might leave them, in that drainage line, and all 5 are off together on a hunting mission. And I want to try and stay with them as closely as possible. Obviously, this is where it starts to get a little bit tricky. If they do start to stalk something, and it is dark, we will have to turn the lights of our vehicle off. Oh, goodness. But for now, they're just almost lazily wandering north. I'll show you them now. There we go. Splitting up. Individuals walking not quite in different directions, but basically just fanning out to make sure that they've got all angles covered. Stopping every now and again to listen, to smell, searching for their next meal. And I don't think it's a very bad idea to get Brent to come into this area as well, even if he's hovering around a road. There we go, Brent read my mind. Standing by.
Sammy, how many stations with you?
It's just me, Brent. I think if you can start making your way towards, it looks like maybe Aubrey's. Oh, hello.
Copy, will do. I'm just getting out of the block.
Copy that. We're right in the middle at the moment, just north of that drainage. There you go. So Brent read my mind. He's going to come and help me in the situation where potentially I might not be able to keep up with them. Okay. Lights, camera, action. We've got the lights. Let's get the action. Oh! Watch out, BM! My spotlight at the ready. I kind of need both arms though, for now. No, it's not going to work. The Ellies have made a mess of this block. I'm going to have to try and get through here. We can do it, we can do it, we can do it, we can do it. We just have to do it quickly, because otherwise the lions are going to disappear. One down, one obstacle down. Oh, one more to go. Several more to go. Several thousand more to go. There's a couple of what we... Oh. I say the lions are going to disappear. They've just all laid down in front of me. I'll show you now. I kind of do that first thing in the morning as well. I get up, wander around, get dressed, flop back onto the bed for a little while, get back up again. So I understand. Hello, ladies. One lioness. Now that they've separated themselves from the cubs, they might actually spend a little bit of time just listening and waiting. They've got enough distance from the cubs that now they can initiate a hunt without worrying about whether or not the cubs are going to get in the way. There, the other lionesses are hidden behind this fallen tree. You can just see one stretched out in the back of one head. And then if we carry on a little bit, there we go, there's a white belly, sorry. And in the back of another lioness's head. So there's 3 there. And number 5 is over here. Oops, I must have overshot the mark slightly. So there's number 5. And now we can patiently wait to see which way they decide to go. I'm half hoping that they decide to go a little bit to the east of us, which would put... Oh, look at that sunset. Look at that sky with a lion underneath it. How spectacular is that? Definitely worth a screenshot or two.
Jamie, I've got your lines. I'm going to be closer towards the short temperance from the Waddled side. I'm going to go around there.
F and Brent, they've just gone flat here. We are closer to Gallagher, but they were walking west. They're now flat in the middle of this block here. Copy, thanks. I'm laughing. Brent's just said to me, good luck. I see the challenge and I am going to tackle it head on. Or bumper on. All 4 are up. No, all 3 are up. 4 and 5, not so keen on the whole idea. Stopping to stretch and greet each other. And we've got to just wait for the 5th lioness to move. She's in the only way that we can get around. So we'll just have to wait for her to go. There goes, oh, there goes number 4. Intently listening. This is where we concentrate exceptionally hard. We're waiting for the slightest sign of a change in body language of these lions. And as soon as we see them crouch, even just tense a muscle in a way that's become familiar to us as a hunting lioness, we immediately have to turn off our lights and just listen. Okay, here comes the good luck part. Here we go, everybody. Just get a good idea of the line they're walking in. And here we go. Uh-oh. 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 An impenetrable wall of vegetation is staring me in the face. Not quite sure how this is going to work. We're okay for now, but I think at some point relatively soon... Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to have to concentrate really carefully. I've completely lost sight of the lionesses. But for now, I'm going to send you across to Brent. I'll catch up with you when I've found them.
So just every now and then you just see a blinking light in here, and that's exactly where Jamie is. So she's asked us to come around to sit on Aubrey's Road. Now I'm obviously I've got my listening to Jamie, and so she's going to let me know if I need to move from here, see where the lions are. So Brian and my plan is just to patrol, and maybe we might see some buffalo or something that they might be interested in, that they might be looking for. Let's carry on moving a little bit. Jamie seems to be heading slightly further to the north. And the smells at the moment are incredible. The marulas are in flower. There's a lot of, I think that's probably the most predominantly, it's a very sweet smell, almost like citrus, but not quite as strong. But quickly across to Jamie.
And the lionesses have taken mercy upon us and come to the road. Thank you very much, ladies. Very much appreciated. And very soon, judging by Brent's lights, he's going to get around to the other side so that we're actually going to have a spectacular view of them walking along the road. Brent, they're coming along Gallagher shortcut now. Whoops. Whoop. Copy. Sorry, there's only so many hands I have, especially when one is occupied with the radio, the other the steering wheel, and the other the spotlight. That doesn't equal 2. What a spectacular sight this is. Sorry, just take a moment to watch them as they wander along the road. Completely silent, not a sound. Our experience with the infrared has shown me or taught me just how quiet these animals truly are. I'm trying to adjust my spotlight slightly at the same time, it's not working. When we sat with the lions in the dark while we were testing the infrared, the sheer silence of the sighting only until the lioness walking right next to our vehicle we could hear them. Just the soft padding, almost sensing rather than hearing. I'm making sure not to crowd them, which is why we're giving them as much space as we are. I think they just cut the corner. Did they? No, they're there. Let's just see. I think one of the lionesses has spotted something up ahead. All ears and focus. Testing the air. Sniffing, preparing themselves for what lies ahead. Brent, as you come through, just check carefully along the road. And one of the lionesses seems to be looking at something where you are. I can hear a hyena calling.
Copy.
Just listen to this. Two of the females cutting off to the right, the other 3 intently focused. Do we have an ambush in progress? One lioness now going off to the left, so the ranks are peeling away. What have they seen? Ask Brent as he comes, obviously you heard me ask Brent, as he comes along the road to just keep checking carefully for whatever it is they might have spotted. Two lionesses waiting patiently. Wouldn't you love to know? Wouldn't you love to be a lion for a day and know how they've just communicated to each other? Okay, lights are going off. She's stalking. Okay. Brent, they are stalking. 2 of them have gone off to the east, another 2 to the west, and 1 still on the road in front of me.
What would you like to do?
I think once you're maybe within maybe 70 meters of me, just stop and stand by there. Okay, now we wait. Them giving us an awesome view. We know the picture's very difficult for you to see. You might barely be able to make out the image of the lioness in front of you. There's nothing we can do, unfortunately. It's really, really important that we don't compromise these lions in any way. What we're doing is not spotlighting, so we don't in any way interfere, either by alerting the prey to the lions or by alerting the lions to, or by dazzling the prey so that they are vulnerable. The reason we are not switching to infrared, as I mentioned earlier, is the fact that Jigger doesn't have it at this point. The setup is not yet complete. That's why we called Brent into the sighting. He does. And as soon as he gets a view of the lionesses, he will be able to show you. And there is... Sorry, Brent, please go again.
There's a kudu in the road in front of us. You've switched to infrared.
Copy, I'm sure that's what they're looking at. I do not have infrared. Okay. Right. Now I think that you would have heard that, but let's go across to Brent and see what his infrared vision is bringing us.
Okay, so we've approached from the opposite side of Jamie, and I'm trying to see just on the edge of our infrared lights, so we're completely in the darkness now. I think it's just, I'm going to move forward slightly, but I saw a kudu ahead of us, so I'm just going to move these. I'm going to actually see if I can adjust one of the lights shortly. So I'm just trying to see now. So I can't see, obviously. I'm watching my monitor down here, where the road is, so I don't drive off it. Now there was a kudu somewhere around here. Brian, do you know if these lights are adjustable? Can I move them? It doesn't feel like I can. Oh, that lightning in the distance. Wow. So in this area here, I got a glimpse of an eye, and from the size of it, I thought it might be a kudu. Now, the lions are just around the corner. You can see the road bend there. And Jamie said 2 of them have gone off to this side of the road and 2 to the other side of the road. So we're just going to sit here quietly in the darkness. Isn't this exciting? So very exciting. Oh, I'm very green. Apologize. Been eating too many vegetables. No, negative, I'm black and white. On my monitor I look green. Maybe that's the thing. Well, I've just lost my colourful personality. Okay, so I'm looking down at the monitor so I can see. I'm just going to try something here quickly. I'm just going to try to park the car slightly to the side so the infrared spotlight is pointing out to where I think the animal might be. There we go. Did you see that? It looks like an eye in the infrared. Or was that Jamie? I think that's Jamie. That's Jamie. So I got very excited there, but that's where, or more or less where the kudu was. You can see Jamie through there. I mean, what we're waiting to hear is either the stampeding of the hooves and then the noise of the takedown, or we could just hear the kudu go bah, bah, and the lions have failed. The Nkuhumas are looking quite hungry, and as I said at the beginning of the safari, Jamie and I both thought it would be a very good idea to try get around the Nkuhumas around sunset, because we knew they're going to be on the hunt. I mean, when I left them this morning, the end of the sunrise safari, they just had an unsuccessful hunt on zebra. Oh, there we go, something's running. In front of us, something. It's the kudu, they're the kudu. I just heard the footsteps. Now where are the lions? So they just trotted across the road. I don't think they know the lions are here yet. Ah, now they do. He's running. Alarm calling. Lion in front, lion ran across the road. Sorry, I just saw what looked like a lioness. Just this ghost appear through the road. We're trying to hear if they've made a takedown. I can just hear kudu footprints all over. Everything's gone still. Okay, everything's gone still. Did you hear that, Brian? Just want to check down the road behind us. The lions are heading back towards Jamie. It's just the one line that just shot through there. I think they could have, luckily for them, managed to escape. And the lions should be right in front of Jamie in a second, or in front of us. I'm just going to, there we go. You can see that. We're just going to keep the infrared on for now, but we are using a little bit of ambient light from our car, as you can see. Unsuccessful. So Jamie's coming up the road. Let me just turn my lights off there. See if there are any more lions around. Wow, that was exciting, wasn't it? It's really amazing to have this capability to go into infrared after dark. Here comes Jamie. Can you see one, Jem? Hi, can you see them? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, there she is there. Parallel to us. Okay, so hasn't this been absolutely fantastic? Unfortunately for the incredible Nkuhumas, they weren't so incredible this evening. But, oh, flop. That's what she thought of that kudu hunt. But from myself and Brian, and of course a big welcome back to the Brian. I wonder what an infrared thumb looks like, Brian.
Yeah, let's try.
I'm just going to try. We're going to see what an infrared thumb. I'm quite excited. Hello, thumb.
All right.
That looks quite cool. But from Jamie, myself, and the rest of the Safari Live crew, great to be back. Also, remember, what?
There's a lion right.
Oh, there's a lion right in front of us. Sorry, I didn't even see that. Commander Bond, it was dark. Commander Bond, the Dachshund, also known as James Henry, will be back on drive tomorrow, and I'm sure a lot of you are excited about that. Well, let's follow the line for the last few seconds. As I said, hopefully they'll have success later on this evening, but from the rest of us here, we'll see you bright and early on the Sunrise Safari.